at what we've done. Oh, look at what we've done. Nothing left to give. Cracking the earth, the place where we live. Water we can't drink. Chemical spills, rivers that stink. How many care? How many stand up? How many dare? How many care? How many stand up? How many dare? Look at what we've done.
How y'all doing today, baby?
Look at what we've done. Tell me it's not true. So many lies.
I'm pulling a switch and it's the wrong one. How y'all doing, baby? It is Sunday. I think it's Sunday. It feels like Sunday. It should be Sunday. If it's not Sunday, we hereby declare it to be Sunday. How y'all doing, baby? I hope you've had the best weekend that you could possibly have. None of it good. Anyway, RVW King is in the first room. First one to jump in the room. Let me get my mouth working. That followed up by that smart-ass squaw. She's in here, thank goodness. Pat Hunter's here. Where'd my mouse go? There it is. Dwayne Dwiddle is with us. Bart Larson, Jeff Curry, the remixtress is with us. Thank you very much. Jeanette Miller and Jay Clayton and Stephanie Dean are both here. Ooh, romance in the air. I'm just saying. Bruce Preston, Karen Van Wick. Ah, losing my ever-loving fucking mind. I am. It's not funny. It's going to be a sight to see. Deborah Douglas is here. Jeff Curry, BW. Let me see. John Herron, Heidi Ho, neighbor, our resident archaeologist. Let's hope he's digging for all this shit. Rick Shelley is here. Jeanette Miller. Lord have mercy. Let me jump down here before I just screw everything. Anyway, how y'all doing, baby? I hope you're doing well. For the state of our nation, the crap that we're having to. It's rough, baby. It's rough. This subject is rough. What we've witnessed again. It's rough to get through, baby. This is our house. This is the house that we built. This is the house that we're supposed to maintain. We're not doing a good job of it, baby. We're letting shit happen in this country that should not happen. And we're all witness to it again. It's plastered all over your TV. You can't miss it. It's there. And the answer to all of that is the same as it has always been. Us, we, the people, that's it. That's us. We deal with this shit any way you can, and the camera is starting to lean. One of my cameras isn't working when I started out. Now I had to move a camera, and it's not stable. So yeah, John's starting out on the right foot here. Let's, oh, what happened? Oh, I seen somebody there, and they're not there. Oh, boy, howdy. Let me try again here. Oh, Lordy, it's been a long day. It's been a long weekend. Bernadette, how are you, dear? Jump right in here, baby. I'm treading water. Nothing worked when I came in here. Huh?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, dear.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear it in the side.
Weekend. I mean, it's a lot to deal with.
Yes, it is.
Here we go again. And to be honest with you, John, I don't see it stopping.
You know, it's funny you should say that, because I just a little while ago saw a clip of Jim Jordan, Jacket Off Jim Jordan, head of the Judiciary Committee now. Yeah, you'd think he'd have something to say about this. Yeah, he said the same thing. He doesn't see a way to stop it. Really.
We don't have the desire to stop it. We're
That's
never going
more
to get rid
precisely.
of qualified immunity, which would stop it, because if these people
Sure.
could be
If they
sued
could be sued,
personally,
yeah.
if they had a stake in the game,
Yeah.
they would be less inclined to put their asses on the line
Exactly. If they were held
Um,
personally liable for their actions,
yeah.
then yeah, it'd be a different ballgame.
But hey, from Emmett Till to Tyree Nichols, with
You know-
a touch of Rodney King and George Floyd in between,
Oh, a list,
this
baby.
is not going to stop. The list is
It's horrible. Let me get to something else, but first let me get Miss
It's
Chick in the
long.
room. Hi, Miss Chick.
Hi, John.
How are you, dear?
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's all best we can expect today.
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
we can expect.
Heavy hearts.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is. We all have a heavy heart about this. This is not an easy subject to discuss. But
You know what? When you got a young man who's black, who's running around out here in these streets, it's a hell of a lot more than a heavy heart, John.
it is.
Yeah.
But there's several things that are on my mind, and I was thinking about trying to work them into a rant earlier, but I'm too busy with other crap. But one was when Benjamin Crump spoke the other day, and he was standing up there talking to the press about, he was giving a list of the names we all recognize.
Yeah.
And he was giving the time between the incident and the time the officers were charged. Years. These are white officers that were accused of horrendous crimes against black people, and it took years for charges to come. And in this case, boom, they got. And Benjamin Crump has been repeating it. Now we have a blueprint. We don't want to see anything less than this in the future. If something happens, charges brought now. You have video evidence. You have witnesses.
Something. We're all screaming, do something.
Do something.
And it's obvious that something can be done. These
Yes.
people can be taken off the payrolls. They could be charged. They could be arrested. I don't see the police unions standing up and screaming for these 5 so-called police officers.
No, they're not. They're not going to stand up for
and
them.
and to be honest with you, John and Missy Chick, the only reason why we have video, especially the poll video, the one that showed everything,
Right?
is because they put those kind of cameras in the black communities. It's the only reason why
Yeah.
we have this video.
And in this case, thank goodness. Thank goodness they had them, and thank goodness the operator turned the camera to keep
And
it on that
zoomed in.
spot and zoomed in.
and zoomed in. It's I forced myself to watch this shit, and I have to say that I give Tyree's mother, I'm not exactly sure what her name is, and I should know it by now. I give her the utmost credit that she raised her son right, but this woman has such amazing fucking grace.
Amen.
It's
Amen.
not even funny, because I don't know that I could ask
I don't
for
think I would be
forgiveness.
that contained.
No. And she has an amazing grace that I would love to emulate.
Yeah.
Because if it was my son, I'd be livid. I'd be
You
livid.
know, out of all those videos,
He was 3 houses away from being home.
yeah, he was close. He was close. I can't imagine the pain his mama is going through.
She felt bad
Yeah.
because she heard him call out.
Yeah,
and
she
she
said she
couldn't
had a
help
pain
but
in her stomach,
She
and
felt
I imagine she
bad.
did. You know, this is it is. It's beyond words of what we do.
We
You know,
we
this
have no
the only calming
desire.
voice on any of those tapes is Tyree's. That's the only voice that you hear calm. From the moment of the first video camera, when they run up to the car, it's get the fuck out of this, get the fuck out of that, get your fuck down. Really?
And he died because he asked, "What did I do? What
What
did I do?" Which is no different than I can't breathe.
Right.
I can't breathe.
That's powerful.
And when they held him, two officers holding him while two other officers came up and punched the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
John,
While
I
one
don't
was
have a
holding
lot of
him.
good to say
While
about
one
this
was
shit.
holding him up.
Yes, yes, they were holding him up.
And you can see the officer that comes in with the metal wasp baton
The
comes
baton.
in, and he makes 2 or 3 licks, and then turns around and walks away. That's it. He wasn't interested in
He ran because if you tase any wild animal like they tased him, they're gonna
if
get
they
up
were
and flee.
treating me like they
Okay.
would at a certain point. You think, oh no, they don't want to arrest me. They want to fucking beat the shit out of me. I'm up and gone if I
And he
can.
knew it, and he knew
Yes.
it, and that's why he ran. And he made them look like fucking out of shape idiots that they were for running.
Well, you
And
know,
that's
it's
why
like
they
I said
beat
the other
his
day,
ass.
yesterday. If you take away the badge and the uniform, what do you got? You got a gang. That's what you got. That's what you had in those officers, a gang. They're just roaming around
Yeah,
looking
but you
for
know
shit.
what, John? With the badge and the uniform,
Yeah.
you have a gang of blue with qualified immunity.
Yeah, therein lies the problem. And we can do better. But it takes a nation that wants
We won't.
to move in that direction to pass
We
laws that no, we're not. And you were
We
right
won't do
by taking away immunity. Then yeah,
Qualified immunity.
you take
Which
that
is
away.
something that it's not a fucking law. It's something that Supreme Court passed.
Yeah.
They passed Roe versus Wade. They passed that shit, and they took it away.
And I read somewhere somebody made the comment that I read that they should take away the qualified immunity and allow them to be sued. And if they lose, the money should not come from the city. It should come from the police retirement fund. Why should the taxpayers have to pay your shit when you fuck up?
Right.
Let's take it out. Let's take it out of your
The
shit.
city is going to pay for this.
Let's have the
city is
union
gonna
step
pay
up and
for
start
this.
policing their shit because, hey, the union will have to pay out of the retirement fund to pay for all these lawsuits. They might decide to straighten their shit up. You know, I mentioned that what LaPierre said, the only thing that will stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Well, there are good guys with a gun standing all over the place beating the shit out of somebody. It's in our system. You know, but it runs so deep, and I'll tell you why that my mind is running so many different places is because Marsha and I, not only we watched all of this with Tyree Nichols, but Marsha and I sat down and watched the 1619 Project.
Yeah.
And it is an outstanding documentary that I suggest you watch. Yeah, we saw it on Hulu. And then when that ended, and then we switched over to HBO, I think it was, or whoever, maybe it was CNN. It was, the guy that does the show on CNN, black fellow.
Don Lemon.
No, he does a
Dan
series.
Jones.
No, he's not a reporter. He does a series.
I don't know CNN.
It'll come to me. I'm
Kamu
sorry.
Bell.
Kamal Bell.
Kamal Bell. Yeah,
Uh,
Kamal Bell.
And his stories about life in the black community.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this running through my head. One of the things that stood out in that documentary, and it just did, it made you go, what? There was a couple, wanted to get married, living in Tennessee. He is from South Africa. She is, I believe, from Indonesia somewhere. They go to get their license, and at the county, there's that questionnaire they have to fill out, and they come to the box that says race. Well, they didn't fit any of the race.
Mm-hmm.
And as a matter of fact, it offended him that question would be on his license. Because in his mind, coming from South Africa, when you say race, he thinks race, like you're going to race somebody to the finish line. He doesn't think about race as a color of people. It's not their psyche in South Africa. But the whole question of why that thing is there on a marriage license, what business is it of yours, and why should it matter? And they made an issue of it. They had to go to the state legislature to get it removed because it was a ridiculous question. What race are you? And then the whole concept of what that means when you dig back on it. You know, it was, I can't quote the exact date, it was because it's in the documentary. In 18, I'm going to say 50 something or whatever, when Congress passed a law that you could no longer import slaves into the United States. The only slaves that we're going to have are the ones that are here. Well, that created a problem. Created a problem because now you don't have a fresh supply of slaves. This one old boy from, I think it was Virginia, came up with the solution. Whereas before, in time, a child was given the race of his father. But after they quit importing slaves and more slave masters were impregnating their slaves, well, that created a problem because now you have some of these slave children that are coming out white looking, but they're not white, so they can't be classified white, so we have to change the law to classify it that it is whatever the mother is, and of course the mother is a slave, so therefore the child will be a slave. It's like producing your own workforce. And it became prevalent.
That's because the slaves were, it was chattel slavery, and they were not even considered human. They were considered property.
Yes.
So if you breed your cow,
no different than breeding your cow or your horse.
Exactly.
Which
and
begs
so
the question: is
property.
Is that plantation owner out there screwing the horse? No. No, he knows the difference. He knows.
John, and that's why it's always been a farce to do anything in this country under the creed of race.
Yes,
okay?
And that's how come I really, recommend that people go watch that if you can. The 1619 Project is very informative. You'll see things in there that'll make you go, hey, wait a minute. And it's very informative, and it's stuff we all should know. But it impacts, the 1619 Project documentary goes right up to today's, 2023. They're interviewing, in this year, people in this year. So, yeah, it is something, but, the answer to what our problems are so massive that it's hard to comprehend how you erase so many years of institutionalized racism in our society. Because if we live by the documents we claim to hold dear, well, what's the problem?
But when the documents that we claim to hold dear were written
by slave owners with the intent of perpetuating that ideal, yes.
Because it's capitalistic in the first place. I mean, it's all about the money. The more property I own, the more money I have, the richer the man I am. And so,
the problem becomes when you start writing down on paper.
The system is systemic.
Indeed.
Is a problem. And which is one of the reasons why I keep saying burn this shit down, because you cannot keep building on a cracked foundation. We continue to build on this cracked foundation, and
our house is in bad shape, no doubt.
Issues. Our house is falling fucking down. And we're not going to stop it. We don't have a desire to stop it. It's written into the paperwork of our Constitution.
That's the problem, is when they write ideals down on paper, as we did in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, when you articulate it on paper, and it sounds so grand in the system that you're in, but what you've done is create a living document that will be interpreted as purely as it's written, that all men are created equal. You can't make that statement, baby. You can't live up to the Constitution if you don't apply it. And that's what every right has come from, is that fight.
Sure you can, John. And here's how you apply it. You don't consider those black people to be men. let's not forget on HBO, by the
Three
way,
fifths
is
of a man.
another really good docu series called Terminate All the Brutes. And if you haven't watched that, you need to go watch that also.
I will look. I will look
That will
that up.
fucking blow your mind.
Terminate
Because
all the
when
groups.
you don't terminate all the brutes,
Brutes.
BRUTES,
Brutes.
brutes.
Eliminate all the
Yeah.
brutes.
Eliminate all the brutes.
I will check it
Terminate
out.
all
I
the
will
brutes.
check it out.
If you don't think of black people as people, they are property, they are chattel.
And that's documented through in this all the way up through history.
You can do the things that you do to them,
You
and
can
you're
justify them.
justified.
You justify them. But,
Yes.
But the beauty in the document is that, and this is what I admired about the 1619 Project when she first started talking about it, is you can't look at the history of America without going all the way back to when America started. That was the first ships that brought slaves to this country in 1619. And the contribution of slave labor that built this country. Right up to the time of 1776, when we're going to go to war and declare ourselves a nation, the country is halfway built by slave labor.
It's still building.
It is still in ways that our country refuses to
Legal ways. Also, let's not forget the prison system is built on this.
It is indeed.
We continue slavery
Yes.
through the prison system, which is an industrial complex in itself that's for profit. Period. And who are the majority of the people in prison?
Black.
Thank you. Or people of color.
I agree with you. And the system is built that way.
Yes.
To keep
and
it going.
It's written into the fucking document. It's the 14th Amendment.
The 14th Amendment is what gives us our right to against search and seizure, and provides rights for your defense. I can't recall it right now. It should be in my head, but it's not. But the idea I'm trying to say is that the fight that has been taken and won all the way through with the civil rights marches in the fight that Martin Luther did all the way up has been that community taking the words of the Constitution and shoving it in our face, and that's how they changed it. They didn't change it by fighting. They were taking our words, the words in our document, and shoving them in our face and say, if you're going to live up, if you're going to call yourself a democracy, then you have to live up to this document, and that includes everybody.
Yeah, and the fairness of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is what really I admired about that is the nonviolent protest was a way of saying these are your words. This is your house that you built, that we built.
And yet this mother is still standing up in a very nonviolent way.
Yes. I don't know how she is, but bless her heart that she is.
And crying for her son at the same time. And that's what black people do.
Yeah.
We take that beating. And we stand. And we keep taking this beating. And we keep standing for this country that don't give a shit about us.
That's what's amazing, is after all of the slavery, all of that, everything that it entails, they still stand up for this country. When you talk about patriots, you're talking about black Americans who have built this, and who still went through the history of fighting for this country.
To wipe black history off the fucking map. Good luck in getting into the White House, asshole, without the black vote in America.
No, you're not going to get there.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Hey, let's breathe again. Mitch, are you with us? I tried to call you today. Check your phone there. You'll see.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes.
I saw that, and here I am. What's going on today, John?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Mitch. Maybe I'll just spill the beans right here live. I got an email a message the other day from John and Carolyn Majesco out in North Carolina. Yeah. And they have been wanting to come down here. And but they have friends down here also in Texas. But she wrote me the other day, and she says, well, we're coming to Texas. We're coming to San Antonio on May 21st through the 25th. And they would like to see me and Travis and whoever else might want to come. Well, Randy Peterson is going. Joe Garcia is now going. I talked to Michael Johnson on the phone, which, by the way, while we're at it, let me thank Michael Johnson for the shirt that he sent me that says, "You can't fix stupid, but the hats make it easier to identify." And Michael Johnson, thank you very much, brother. Yes, he sent me a package, and the shirt was in there, and I called him, and so he's going to make plans. So I was calling you to say, hey, Mitch, want to go to San Antonio?
Yeah, I'm here at my brother's house in Los Angeles.
I know you're out there right now. How is your brother, by the way?
I'm looking at him right now. He looks way better than when I saw him on Skype 2 weeks ago.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Well, we're
It's
glad to hear
3
that.
weeks from
He
the
looked
day
happy in
he
the
had
picture.
surgery. What's that?
I said, I seen it. Wasn't that him in the picture you took?
That was him.
He
very
looked,
much like-
he
say hi,
looked,
Barry.
he had a smile
Hi,
on his
Barry.
face. He looked pretty happy.
This is Dr. Barry.
Oh, there you go. You look
Yeah.
good.
And
That-
my nephew is here. My nephew Zev. Say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate it
Zev's
tremendously.
one of my 2 godsons.
Well, aren't you just a popular guy, Mitch?
I sure am. I'm godly, that's why.
That's why. That's why. No,
So
I've seen.
what's happening, man?
It's the same old stuff. You know,
Looks like the
this
49ers
weekend a
didn't
little bit
lose
more
a lot.
different, though. A little more heartbreaking this weekend with the release of that video. That's what we're all talking about. Is the tirade.
Honestly, I can't even watch it. To
It's
me,
rough, buddy.
It's like inviting your own self-abuse, and I just won't be. part
You're a
of
smart
that.
man, Mitch. I wish I could be so lucky. I gotta look. Because we're going to talk
I've
about it. And I
already
have to
seen
know.
it.
Yeah, it's horrific. It's what you think
I've
it is.
seen it down to the bone.
Yeah,
It's,
we got to fix our house,
and I
buddy.
don't want to say, we keep saying America hates black people. I don't think that's the case. I think that there's Americans who hate black people.
Yeah,
But where would we be without black people? I can tell you where we'd be.
we.
John.
Yeah.
Barry here. I used to think, because our family's Jewish and our family immigrated almost exclusively around the turn of the century.
Right.
So I used to think when I was a kid, well, the black American experience has nothing to do with me. That it wasn't my fault. I
Right.
felt sort of blameless
Right.
in the horribleness of the black
Yeah.
experience.
That wasn't you.
You
That
know,
was somebody else.
In the last 5-10 years, I've realized our family came to this country around the turn of the century because they thought the roads were paved with gold. Well, that gold was the gold in the hands of white Americans who had enslaved black people for hundreds of years.
Indeed.
And all of the economic advantage that reverberated throughout the world and made our country super attractive was all from the sweat of slaves in America and that 200-300 years of free labor. So our
Indeed.
family were starving potato farmers. We came to America because we heard what a fantastic success it was and didn't realize, or maybe they did realize, that this was, an unpaid debt to black Americans that still reverberates. Anyway, that's my recent thought.
And it does today. It does
Well said.
today. And
Excuse me, can I
go
say
ahead.
something?
Go ahead.
Barry, my name is Bernadette, and I just want to say I appreciate very much what you just said, because it is the truth. And if more white people would stop looking away and realize that that's exactly how this country was built, maybe I would have a little bit of hope that we're going to, maybe I'd have a little bit of hope that we could make it right. But as I see it right now, I don't see that. I still have a black son out there
The
that I feel
intergenerational
for
trauma.
every time he leaves the house, which he's gone right now.
The intergenerational trauma is so
and-
deep.
let me intercede one more thing.
Please.
Just last year, he was pulled over by 4 cops for reckless driving.
Scary thought, huh?
No, it's frightening.
Yeah.
It's not scary. It's beyond scary at this point.
And you
'Cause
know,
every time my son
we're not
leaves
even
Austin,
immune
I
from it.
wonder if he's coming home.
See scissors back there?
We're not immune from it. And I
No.
say all the time, I brought my children up in a town and they went to public school, and having pennies thrown at them on a daily basis was routine. And they're so ashamed, they were half ashamed and half like, well, it's not that big a deal. But it hurts me to know that people would raise children to think that that's funny, or that somehow I have a sense of humor
I
about
take
that
a
stuff.
great bit of
Because
pride in
it's
the
not.
fact that I did not raise my children to be that way.
I
I'm
appreciate
proud of
you guys
I'm
for
proud
saying
of
that.
both my sons, but this is the systemic racism that goes on and is is nothing new. We've all heard it, but when put in perspective, in a historical perspective, all the way up to redlining, which is still going on then today. How we invest this country's money in what areas do we do that? And we are still practicing that racism today. In diminished neighborhoods, they're not going to pour the money in there to fix it up. They're putting money out here in the suburbs or some shit.
And it's not about hatred. It's about profit.
It's about profit. It's about money.
It certainly is.
Which let's face it. A lot of today's problems that we're facing, racism not being one of them, but a majority of others, and maybe some racism, is financially motivated. It's about the money. Who's making the money? I've told y'all forever. Poor, hungry, and needing a job. That's the workforce, baby. That's the workforce this country needs to produce and operate the way we do. But somebody's got to be poor, hungry, and needing a job to do that. It's the way it's all designed. Well, you can break out of it. It's not easy, but you can do it. If you put your nose to the
We're
grinder,
not
as they
going
say.
to. We're
The
not
problem is
going to
there's
do it because we have no desire to do it.
right.
When you
there's
have
no
people like
motivation.
Ron DeSantis making and passing laws in 2023,
2023.
the way that he's doing
not
down
gonna
in
teach
Florida,
African
we're not
American
going
history.
to do it. We're not.
Yeah.
How does Ron DeSantis get to tell me and my family that our history has no educational value in this country?
Yeah.
And he
Kind of
wants
slap
to
in the
sit
face,
in
isn't
the
it?
White House? No, it's more than that. It's here, take my shitty ass shoe and rub it in my fucking face. That's what it is. It's not a slap.
It is.
Come on.
No, it is. It's an insult. I agree with you, Bernadette. I agree with you. It is more than that. What's worse about it is in front of God and everybody, and they're not ashamed of it. That's what they're pushing. That's their selling
I thought
point,
it was
baby.
unusual when I was a kid. I thought that American history, as taught, in the latter part of the 20th century when I learned it, was the history of white Americans since Columbus.
Yeah, that's what you're taught in school.
That's correct.
That's it.
And I can tell you, upon further reflection, that black history is American history. They're inseparable because America, as we know it, would not exist
Indeed.
if we would have done like other civilized countries, like England, which dispatched with slavery 120 years before America did.
I really was so ashamed of myself, the fact that I did not know about Black Wall Street until it hit the news not long ago. I did not know about that. A very significant thing in history like that you would think would show up. Nope.
And it's not an isolated incident. There's many incidents of where, one
hundreds
of the
of
classic
thousands,
ones,
I'm
which
sure.
nobody talks about, is there was a little Black Wall Street in Pittsburgh.
There were little
it's
black Wall
thrived.
Streets all over this country until the highway system got built and ripped towns
The
apart.
interstate system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The interstate system
and
was
just
designed.
destroyed this fucking
Correct.
Yeah. It
black
was designed
entrepreneurship that was growing in this country.
Correct. They put those interstates into New Orleans.
We don't know
right,
American history, and that's the
right
problem.
through the black neighborhoods of New Orleans. Right through.
Yep.
Mowed them down.
Well, where else you going to
Left
put
them
a
with nothing.
highway, bitch? Or you wouldn't put it down there on near the beach, or in an affluent neighborhood where they have pretty streets and
Oh,
all
we
that.
on the beach out here in California
Yeah.
too, and they just simply took that shit.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. I'm glad to see that finally resolved.
Yes.
But it
And
took
then the
look how many
family
years
turns
to do
around
that.
and sells it back
Yeah.
to the county, the
Yeah.
city. Yes. And I understand why they did it.
That's their choice, though.
It is their choice. But the generational wealth that was taken from them, they will never get back
Never.
in the monetary
Exactly.
value that
No.
they'll get for
And it set in
selling that
stone
property.
certain aspects of life that just weren't not American. Not again. If you hold the documents we hold dear up for what they're supposed to mean, no, we didn't live up to that shit, and we still haven't. That's how come they're still fighting. That's
Well,
how come
I think
we're still
Bernadette
fighting.
mentioned, I'd have to agree with her. There's no incentive
No.
to unravel. I'll say it.
Nope.
There's no financial incentive to unravel the damage that was done to the generations of black people in America. We feel, white people are trained, indoctrinated to feel that they are not part of that problem, that they can't be held liable for something that happened 200 years ago. I can tell you that that's just not true, because we profit still today. We have that privilege that was bought.
That's
with
because we're taught
blood
that
of the
false
black
history,
people
though,
record.
Mitch.
And my history as a voluntary immigrant, my grandparents were voluntary immigrants, does not map the history of people who were dragged here on boats and chained into boats.
Yeah.
No comparison.
No,
Mine either.
no, there's nobody
But
that
I
can.
live here, and I want to see what's going on. I want to know what's going on. I want to know the true history of my country. I want to know what happened to
And
the
the-
first
The
people
fear,
that came
the
here.
fear of teaching the history of this country, and it's been said in documents, and it was said throughout the South and during Reconstruction and the whole damn bit, is that the old white rich man was fearful that the slave was going to rise up and do to him what the old white man had done to the slave. And yet you see this woman who just had her son's life snatched 3 houses down from her home, away from her, and all she does is show grace, because that's who we are.
That's what stood out.
We've been
In
taught
that documentary is-
nonviolence.
It was
That's what we've learned all of our freaking lives, is to be nonviolent, to turn the other cheek. I can't tell you how many times I've been called nigga, and I've had to turn the other cheek. And I'm teaching my grandson to this day how to do the same damn thing. And here's a little clue for everybody. He's blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah.
Now,
that's a little
explain that
blue
one
dot,
to
baby.
me.
Yeah.
How the little surfer
That's where
boy
that-
looking kid gets called a nigga. Explain that to me. Because he don't even look like me.
Because they know his family and they use it against him.
Because they know he's me.
And they've been taught that.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
And that's what
And
I've been fighting
It
since
is until all
Christmas.
of us, and we're not going to reach that plateau for another 100,000 years. If we all
Is it
teach our
going to
children the
change?
right way every day now, it would
No.
take us 1,000 years to get there.
It's not going to change.
It has to.
Not when we keep teaching the next generation and the next generation and the next generation on how to keep it going on. It's not going to change.
But with each generation, we advance farther and farther. That is
Turn
the
the other
message
cheek.
that it took hundreds of years to progress to where we are now, at the cost of millions, the suffering of millions, to get where we are now. And we can't back up. None of us can, no matter our color. Knowledge gives you that responsibility. When you know something, then you gotta respond to it. If you're ignorant about something, it doesn't matter. You don't know anything about it. I didn't know about Tulsa. What the hell does Tulsa mean? Tulsa doesn't mean shit to me. It's in Oklahoma. Oh, you tell me what happened in Oklahoma. Now there's a reason.
Yeah, not just Oklahoma.
No,
That's just
no.
that's just a famous, a particularly infamous
That's
one.
just the one I'm pointing out because it's the one I recently found out that I never knew. But there's thousands upon thousands of those stories that we're never going to know. That we're never going to know. But with knowledge comes a responsibility to do something better, to fix what you know is broken. That's what my rant was about yesterday. And y'all know me. I'm a proud veteran, baby. But if you want to know where to scrape the money by to fix this house up, baby, it's the Defense Department. We spend so much on defense while our house is crumbling, while our citizens go suffering. We have our priorities all screwed up. We're the most powerful military in the world, 10 times over the nearest person, nearest country. There's no question. Our priorities are fucked up. We can build a beautiful wall to protect this shit, but what are we protecting? You know, it's our house we have to fix. It's our society, and we can't give up on that shit.
Beautiful guns that we love so much. That's what we're protecting.
And for what little sliver of part it does, this show is part of that. It's people getting together and discussing things and getting motivated to do something about it, making sure we're all motivated to go vote. Or there's an item coming up on a particular bill. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's where your vote really matters.
That's where it matters.
Where
Baby.
your voice is really heard is
Right.
in your vote, and they're trying to stop you
They're
from
trying
being
to
able
do
to
that.
do
That's right.
that
And
shit.
you'll notice if you see where the right wing are focusing their efforts to stop people from voting, it's almost exclusively people of color.
It is indeed, and again, in that 1619
again.
project, it goes all the way up to present day, and that's what they are talking about, how the Republican Party is now taking exactly like a surgical knife, communities of color, and trying to make it as difficult for them to vote as possible. It's another way to control them.
Yeah, what do you think gerrymandering really is?
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a way of
that's-
splitting up voting blocks,
Just to
geographical
diminish
voting blocks.
that's what they've
to
done
make
down
it
in Texas.
purposely unfair.
They've done it in Texas. They've done it all across, especially down here in the South.
Texas
And
looks
that's
like
why,
a friggin'
and that's
jigsaw
why
It bleeds
the
red.
House. That's why the House is now Republican because of gerrymandering in this last election.
And we have
And the
147
gerrymandering,
of them that
let's-
voted
let's
for
be clear.
insurrection.
The gerrymandering comes from the 2020 census, which was also rigged and cut short by that idiot by the name of Fuck Trump.
Yeah,
Remember
because
that?
there was a threat put out when that census came out. People were afraid to fill out the census. And it isn't about where you're from, your national. It's about how many people are here. How many people are in your county, in your district, in your state. So we can provide the services to take care of them. And yes, they use that as a weapon. Before we get carried away, Mitch Goldstein, thank you very much, came in with a $2 donation and said, Black Americans built this country. And that's literal.
It's a fact. They built the
Thank you.
railroad. They
Thank
built
you,
the
Mitch.
White House. They built the Capitol. They built the Washington Monument. They built the National Archives.
Everything that we
They
built for
the
democracy
Smithsonian.
and provided none to the labor that built it.
And what did they get for their trouble, John?
Not a whole
Nothing.
lot.
Nothing.
Not a whole lot
Not
of
even a
anything.
plaque. Not even a plaque.
Another day of work if you were lucky.
Mhm.
Another day to live if you were lucky. No, I cannot imagine the hardships of those days. You know. But we can't turn a blind eye to to what's happening today. What is still happening with redlining, with diminishing neighborhoods because of who lives there. We can't keep having a society based on, well, these people deserve it and these don't. You know, at some point, the whole system will just collapse.
Let's fix it.
And we're on a path. No matter what they say, this is going to be a nation of non-white. White is going to become a minority in this country soon. That's what I guess setting off. A lot of them are all paranoid. Ooh,
15 or 20 years.
are you
it's gonna
shitting
be
me?
all over.
Really? Really? That's what you're worried about? You know, to me, it is so ignorant. Racism in itself, and I've tried to instill that in my kids growing up. It's ignorance. That's what it is. At its highest level. You don't know somebody, but you're going to judge who they are by what color they are. Shit. I'm missing out on some absolutely fantastic people who are probably 10 times smarter than your dumb ass. You know, I was lucky to be raised by parents who believed that also. And that's where it came from in me. My dad was from New Orleans. Tell me he didn't have a little bit of, racist bone in his body. He's from New Orleans. And if them people down there, you know what they are. But my mother would not tolerate it in her house at all. And I just can only assume that the years before I got there, that my mother changed my father for the better. I can only assume, because I never saw him act racist in his life. And that's the way I want my kids to be.
Here's the thing, John.
What's that?
In my life, I've been lucky, primarily because of my color, right?
Right.
My parents were lucky because of their color. They were only first-generation Americans, but still, they had a hand up simply because of their color. And in saying that, I need to, as an adult now, realize what the world has really been doing to our colored brethren here in the United States, and not, I need to be actively involved in changing that. Not just saying, oh, I see you. I need to say, I see you, and I need to help change that. That's where I'm at today. I can't just stand by and watch this shit anymore. Now that I see it, I see it. It's been pointed out.
And you can't help but see it. As a matter of fact,
exactly.
You'll see it the next time you drive into town. You go to the store, you'll see it. You'll pass something that is going to remind you.
Well, as much as everybody has been upset by protests and this and that, finally, they've had it put in their face of what's really been going on for a very long forever time. Yeah. Right?
This
Here it is.
Unfortunately, when new history is old history.
I can't even imagine me in Tyree's mother's place even being able to stand up right now. I would not even be able to stand up like that woman is standing up. I would have crumpled into a little ball, and that would be it. I wouldn't have the strength at all.
And it applies to every notion of our life. I mean, we have to recognize things for the way they're going. As well we should with the death of Tyree Nichols. But look, as Mitch pointed out a minute ago, being Jewish, just this weekend, a synagogue was firebombed. It didn't burn, but they tried. And the attacks on synagogues here lately, it's the white nationalists are taking. If you're not just pure white, which they're not, you're on the list, buddy.
Dude, there's no such thing as white.
No, I think they ought to do the 23andMe test. Ain't not pure white my ass. Come on, brother. 2023. Let's look back in your history, because I think there's something going on. Sure. I'm proud of whatever blood I have in me. My family is from Switzerland originally. They moved to Chile. I have Chilean blood in me. That excites me. I have people down in Chile with my last name. I've talked to them. Can't understand a word they're saying, but they sure are happy people, and I like the way they barbecue, baby. And it's that realization of who you are, and how you fit into this whole thing. But just as Miss Chick was suggesting, there's things we can do now. There are things that we can support. You could look online, anywhere in your general area. There's activism going on.
I got an idea.
What, Mitch?
Oh, okay.
How about we stop? How about we just have a kind of general effort to completely rethink the purpose and the goals of policing in America? Because
Yeah.
if you think the
Yes.
macrocosm of America is fucked up, take a look at the microcosm of police culture in this country. You want to see fucked up. There are still people that run around. I mean, look at the people who are flying those blue line flags. You see anything familiar about them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I mean, don't they seem awful excited for something that really shouldn't have anything to do with them?
Yep.
It's a culture of violence. It really is within the
Of
police.
violence and
system.
abuse and abuse. And
I am not going to call all of them out.
And-
There are
and
good
let's not-
police people out
There-
there, but
There are
They're-
good police officers, but unless good police officers start standing up against their
Exactly.
own kind and
won't.
police unions stop
again, it's
Yeah,
the
and-
culture
and-
of being quiet and not
Yeah.
saying anything.
Yeah.
uh,
What is the
continue.
it's the
saying they've been
culture of
saying about
corruption.
that
quiet.
blue trumps
It's
black?
not about being quiet. It's about allowing the corruption to thrive.
Yeah.
Only a good guy with
Yeah,
a
I
gun
tell
can
you-
stop a bad guy with a gun.
And this is seen in department after department after department.
The larger the department, the worse it is.
Well, that's
Yeah.
how come
I
the
can tell
discussion is being made now about exactly what are the duties of police officers, because right now they are right. Everything that happens, 911, you call cops. That's what I don't care if it's
Yeah.
it's a mental illness, if it's a bank robbery, is it an accident, and I don't want to forget, because you're right, there are good cops. We have to concentrate on trying to find the bad ones and get them out, but I will never forget the heartache. My father was a sheriff's deputy up until the day he died. I'll never forget the times he would come home heartbroken over a car wreck. When you're digging a baby out.
Yeah.
When you're trying to talk somebody out of a suicide, and they blow your brains out right in front of you. There are so many things that we ask officers to go through, and they have to carry that burden. Doesn't give them an
Right,
excuse to forego the law, but we
Why
have
would
to
you wanna
recognize
have-
what we're telling them to do.
Why would you want to have heavily armed, untrained, violent people responsible for enforcing mental health in the community?
Exactly.
Tell me how much sense that makes.
That does make no sense.
And I thought
That makes no
it'd be
sense.
interesting to drop this on you. We just found out the other day. You know, I used to live in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, a little city outside of Pittsburgh, and we moved 3 years ago to Pittsburgh proper. The Greensburg police chief retired 2.5 years ago. He was on the job for 30 years. He retired 2 years ago. Another guy came in to be police chief. They just dragged him away in handcuffs for doing $7 million of coke and meth deals that he was actually the middleman for delivering drugs to the community.
I'd say he had a good source, don't you?
I'd say he had a
Yeah.
good racket.
He had a good
You know,
record
he
going.
came in 2.5 years ago, and set up this whole really. He set this whole infrastructure up. He knew he was coming into the job. He knew what he was going to want to do. He lined up all the crooked people that wanted a piece of it. And as the chief of police, gave out dangerous drugs to people in the county and lined his own pocket.
And made a bundle of money. Don't be pulling on wires down there.
And
No,
now
no,
they
no,
have to
no.
go back.
Get up.
They have to go back and recheck all the
Scare 'em
audits
all.
on the evidence lockers to see if he was stealing stuff from evidence to
Yeah.
sell.
It happens in police station after police
I
station.
would
after
imagine
police
so.
station. And I tell you something. This chick that's down there in Tennessee, that's the head of the department down there, the little black chick.
Yeah.
I don't think she's gonna keep her job.
I don't
because
think
she's the
so
one who
either.
Brought in this Scorpion unit.
And she has
Okay,
been
and
informed that
implemented
this
it on the
unit had
street.
several complaints against it already.
What
You know,
the hell is that elite police? Where
The-
does that even? Like, what place does that even come from?
the most senior
It's
officer in that
racist.
team was 6 years. The junior was
It's
3
like the
years.
red
Really?
beret of
3
the
years,
police
and you're going to go
department.
put this kid on some specialized unit?
Why would you have a specialized unit pull over a reckless traffic stop?
Exactly. Why were they out there just doing traffic patrol?
Yeah.
No.
Don't they have
Why
cops for
did
that?
they
They
aggressively
were looking for
approach the
someone to kill.
car
In
Exactly.
and
my
yank
opinion, from the
this
moment that
child
cop
out of
decided to
his
pull him over,
car?
that cop
They
was
were
already
fucking
pissed off.
trolling, is what they were doing. They were
Tyree was
trolling
going to
for
pay
anybody
for
that went
whatever
by.
pissed that cop off before. Whatever reason, that cop was already pissed. You could tell it when he came up to the door. There was nothing, no, let me see your license, sir, or, it's get the fuck out of the car and let me reach in there and grab you.
And throw him on the ground.
That's it.
And all he did was ask, what did I do?
What did I do? What did I do? He
What did I
said
do?
y'all are sure doing a whole lot for nothing.
You beat black. That's
Yeah.
what he did.
That's what he did.
One more thing I'll leave you with, another distressing thought. You
Oh,
know that I was
thanks.
a member of the Army for 6 years, and I trained as a National Guardsman. And one of the places that we trained in New Jersey was Seagirt, New Jersey. It's on the shore. It's a beautiful section of the beach that's attached to this. And it's not only the place where the National Guard did their training, but also the place where the New Jersey State Troopers did their training.
Oh,
And we shared a locker
convenient.
room. And they were just starting a brand new cadet class. It was the class of 1985. And there were a bunch of these cadets, and they were in the locker room with us. And I remember that we were talking about, why they wanted to become a cop. And one of them said, absolutely straight faced, that he can't wait to shoot his first nigger. And the other ones laughed.
There's the problem. The other was
And
laugh.
that's policing in America, right there.
There
in a
you
nutshell.
go,
Yeah.
baby.
There it is.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem right there is when you have fellow officers that aren't going to do anything about what you just said or what you
Right.
just did.
Imagine a cadet said that to a sergeant, a training sergeant, whatever they call them, and
Yeah.
he didn't even correct him. He laughed along. Thought that was
'Cause
just
that's the
hilarious.
mentality.
We have so much work to do, baby. We do.
And that
I
was
don't know.
30
You have-
years ago.
You have to
Yeah.
remember the police forces were formed out of the slave patrols. That's where they come
Out of
Correct.
slave
from.
hunters. Yeah.
Now, that's
Law.
not true in other countries, but it's true here.
It is true
Yeah.
here. But this is not the history that we want taught because, of course, we don't want to make little white kids feel
'Cause we
bad.
don't like to teach
we
the
don't want
truth, do
we
we?
don't want this history to be the one that continues. We need to change the history.
Ah,
You remember
That's-
when we went to
how do we
Italy
do that?
and
I wish I
we
knew.
had a relative that was a cop, that was a carabinieri. And we were talking with the carabinieri. They're like the federal police of Italy,
Right?
right? And they carry carbines. They are dead serious. They walk around and they are there to enforce the peace, and that's their main job. And one of them was related to a friend of ours, and we were talking to them when we were over in Italy, and they were asking, it's like, what's up with cops in America? It's like, why did they become cops? It's like, well, why did you become a cop? Well, I became a cop because I want to help people, and I want to, I want to make
Right.
Italy a better place. And I'm
Sure.
like, wow.
Really benevolent
It's
sounding.
like,
Really
it was so
benevolent
weird
sounding.
for me to hear that.
That's
But yet
that's
they have a culture of mob crime over there. So
well, I think it's a slippery slope that all of them get into. That when they get in there, it's the first little thing that they let slide by. One of their fellow officers, senior officers, does something he knows is wrong, but he can't say nothing. He's a senior officer. You let it slide. You let it slide.
That
You let it
blue line.
slide, and then and then
And
there
well,
you
yeah,
are.
you're afraid of losing your own job, and it
The cycles
escalates from there.
of punitive behavior and revenge that come as a result of that are really what the problem is.
What does it say?
So there's really, it's almost as if there's no practical way to fix it unless we keep having Serpicos coming out against the cops. And
That-
you know what
that's
happened to
exactly what
Serpico. He's
needs to
lucky he was
happen. You
alive.
need to have officers that are going to either overtly or covertly take it
Well,
upon
they
themselves to
don't take-
just start pointing them out. But
They
Well-
exclude people who are liable to do that.
Yes.
I'm virtually certain of it.
I'm positive they do. Blue trumps black. Blue trumps everything in the police
guess.
unions. I'm sure. The secrets that are kept, are you shitting me? They ain't near one of us can sit there with a straight face and say there ain't a whole lot of cops without a whole lot of secrets. They have them. I know.
Yeah.
I know. My own instance was, during the flood, our car gets towed away after we got it to the end of the street, rushed back to get another one. By the time we come back, they towed our car. Really? During the middle of a flood? Yep, they did. So we have to go pick it up at the impound station. And we get there, and I go in there, no, we don't take cards. It's all cash. You have to bring in cash to pay for this. So you got to go get cash. I go get cash, and my friend goes in to pay because I'm pissed off, and I'm sitting outside in the car, in the truck waiting, and the truck pulls up next to me, this old boy with a sheriff's deputy hat on, and sends this little girl inside, who comes out a few minutes later with a wad of cash that is over, it would choke a horse. This thing was a stack of bills. I called the police. I called the sheriff's office. I said, look at what I just saw. You tell me what I just saw when I see a little girl come out with a stack of money that would choke a horse and hand it to a guy with a sheriff's deputy hat on. That's the payoff from the tow company on who called the tow company. The sheriff called this tow company. So this tow company owes that sheriff money. That's what I saw. Sheriff come personally to my house with a whole layout. Here's the pictures of all my officers. No, he's not one of your officers. He's one of your auxiliary officers somewhere down the line. That's who I saw. Did it make a difference? Yeah, it made a difference. Every time I go to town, I think I'm going to get pulled over. Yeah. Does it make me feel good out here in the situation I am in with the political nature of what I do? Does it make me feel good? No. My sheriff stops down the road and talks with my neighbor down there with the fuck you signs all over the place for an hour. Sit out in the street and just talk about good old boy shit, I guess. I don't know. You think I feel safe? But no, I don't. Anyway. So what do you think, Mitch? May. Think you could pull a little something in May?
I'll tell you, man. I hope we're going to be able to turn the corner on this. I'm a little skeptical because all the avenues of kind of teaching people about what's really going on are being also closed off in a very kind of mind-Comfian sort of way.
Then we
And
need
now
to scream louder.
they're not only saying that the people are not worthy, but they're saying the stories of the people are not worthy.
Yep.
And people are trained to go along with that. If you say to a white person, "Oh, well, what do you have to do with Harriet Tubman?" And you don't realize how much you do have to do with Harriet Tubman. But if you're a person of good conscience and you're against exploitation, you're in the same place that she was. But we don't see it that way. It's the damnedest thing. We're trained to not see it. We're trained to be blind.
Makes a lot
And
of
I always
sense.
thought it was a little unusual that history started in 1492. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure we were
Columbus
around
sailed
when
the ocean blue. That was it. Nothing before then. And everything
Yeah.
after then was just, well, we won and that's it. Yeah. History can be
And then let's
brutal.
not even talk. I mean, as depressing the story of African American people is in America, how about the Native Americans, the indigenous Americans? You want to talk about getting screwed?
Yep.
It's bad.
mean,
And
and
the sad story goes on.
That's why I say you should watch that docu-series called Exterminate All the Brutes, because it delves into that also. This wasn't about just African Americans. This is about the colonial mindset that other than white is not right, period, around the world.
Yeah, the entitlement.
And we've been that way everywhere we've gone around the world.
And they perverted that to include the Jewish faith when they interpreted it as a threat.
Yes.
Did they not? And to this day still do.
And to this day, we still do.
Boy, we got a lot of work to do.
We
I don't.
Hey, I'm going to pop out of here. I'm getting ready to actually head home fairly soon, but thanks for reaching out, John. It was great to talk to everybody today. Bernadette, you're one of my favorite people in the whole wide world.
And Mitch, I have to say thank you and thank your brother and your nephew for coming in and speaking with us tonight. And I truly do appreciate your comments. I do. I want you to know that.
It means a lot to me, Bernadette. It really
because until it affects you guys and until you guys start standing up, this is going to continue because it has for 400
Indeed.
fucking years. Okay? And until white America says enough is enough is enough, we cannot continue to build our country on this bullshit. I mean, just take the gun situation in this country. We had another shooting here in California. This is it's outrageous that nothing is being done.
The
About
issues
any
are
fucking thing.
plenty. There
And
are
yet we have these idiots up in our house. And see, that's why we got to be better voters. So we don't have idiots up in our house taking control and running stupid ass fucking
doing the important work. Hunter
investigations all over
Biden's
the goddamn
laptop.
place.
Mitch
Wasting our
Goldstein.
time and our money, and we're getting nothing accomplished. And we have dire fucking needs in this country.
do.
People are dying every single day.
See that you know y'all want to know why I like Bernadette so much? Is the passion in her voice when she speaks. Because I know
Exactly.
there are things even y'all don't know. Bernadette, I'm not telling them lie. No, Bernadette is still having to suffer through just what she just told you about Dominique. I knew about that a week ago. What the shit is he going through? Are you shitting me? It's still there.
Every day. We live this
And
shit.
this kid that we have poured so much faith into, he's the target now. He's the target.
He's
Why?
the target.
Because
He's
Bernadette's
being
black.
bullied at school.
Not because
Because
he's
I'm
black.
and his dad is
It's because
black.
his grandma
And
is
because
black.
he's black and he has black family members. But
That means he's
he
got
don't look
black blood, and they feel the liberty to use that word and sling it at him. When
Imagine.
Bernadette told me, and I
He never had
alluded
deal
to it
with that
weeks
before.
ago when I mentioned on this heart that there was something that happened that just broke my heart. Well, that was it. That was it. That broke my heart that when I learned about that. Really? You just want to go smack somebody. That's my first. I just want to smack them.
Yeah.
I
I'm
just
looking
wanna
at the
smack 'em.
paper here in LA.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Anti-Armenian flyers found in Beverly Hills
With the
Armenian.
latest. Yeah.
are
Armenian.
now victims of racism as well. It is absolutely nothing new.
It's the message: if you're not white, you're not right.
Pretty much. All right, John, we're going to dive on out of here. Love to everybody.
Love
Blue
back to
Dots,
you,
make sure
brother.
hit that
Thank you for
like
you
button.
and your
out there,
family
Mitch.
coming in. We appreciate y'all so much. Barry, take care of
Right on,
yourself.
All right, hit
And
that
watch
like button.
Mitch. Somebody's got to
Subscribe.
watch Mitch.
All right.
Please
All
watch
right,
Mitch.
brother.
Keep an eye on
Take
Mitch.
care, guys.
All right, take care of yourself. I hope we could try to pull something together and make something happen in May. If we can, if you're a blue dot within the San Antonio range, that's where we're going to be. And before we carry on, because 20 minutes ago, Keith, I'm so sorry, brother. Keith Thompson came in with a $5 donation and said, "Why am I a blue dot? We talk to each other as people together, talking to the truth." I like to think that, brother. Thank you, Keith. I like to think that. That's what this is, that we get together and talk. It's what we do 3 times a week. I like to think that it helps. I like to think that
John, I appreciate you doing what you do and putting your voice out there. And Miss Chick, you're one of the most understanding people I know, and girl, that's why I picked you. Okay. Why I
Thank you,
picked
Bernadette. I'm just merely trying. I'm trying to be better.
well,
But
that's
you-
all any
you're
of us
doing a
can
good
do.
job. You're a great example. Let's put it that way.
Because let's face
okay?
it, look what happens when you don't. Hey, Joe,
Mhm.
how you doing?
Doing good.
See, if you don't try harder, you end up like that. I'm pulling your leg, brother. How are you doing, Joe?
Oh man.
You sound like you're just getting up.
You just
No,
ate, didn't you?
How'd you know?
Because you just went, like you needed to loosen your pants.
Chances are. Chances are.
Yeah, and I'm fixing to do it again, John.
Are you?
Yeah, I sent all that meat that I cooked yesterday. I sent that to New Mexico, and I'm gonna do another one.
You gonna do a brisket? A brisket?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a brisket.
When are you gonna do this brisket?
Possibly tomorrow.
So if I showed up with,
Possibly
Another
6:30
brisket.
p.m. He might be ready.
well, I'm just saying, if I showed up with another brisket, you could cook that brisket at the same time you're cooking that brisket.
Uh-oh.
Absolutely.
Briskets
If
at
you want,
one.
if you want to bring 6 more, I can.
No,
cook
no,
them.
no. No, but now
Right?
you got me thinking about every time I go to HEB and pass by the big old freaking brisket sitting over there. I go, I need to get something to cook with.
Is this
I'm
a
telling you.
barbecue where you bring your own brisket?
I think so.
Yeah.
Bring your own beef. Let me
Bring-
thank.
bring your own-
Let me do a quick thank you to Michael Johnson, who just came in with $2 and said, Trump escalated systemic racism. Fuck Trump and go Chiefs. Oh, is there a ball game
100%.
going on?
Oh yeah, there's a ball game going
What's
on.
the score? Somebody tell me the score.
Sports ball.
Sports ball. What's the score on the sports ball?
Someone's
I'm not
winning,
sure.
someone's losing.
Eagles.
I'm not sure. I had my eyes closed.
Let me see. So I'm waiting on somebody in the chat to give me the score.
Yeah, you're not going to get
Let
it
me
from
see. Oh, here it is. I don't give a shit. There it is. Because
There
the
it is.
Cowboys
That
aren't
was
in it.
my answer.
The Cowboys aren't in it, so what the hell? No, I wanted to see part of it, but it just didn't work out.
6-13 Chiefs.
6-13, Chiefs are ahead. Kansas
Well,
City's going to Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah,
To the Philadelphia. Did you know the Kansas City Chiefs were once known as the Dallas Texans?
No, didn't know that.
no, I did not know that.
Yeah.
No,
You
the
see, I'm a
Chiefs
real
were
sports fan.
around a long time before the Texans came in.
You're a sports nerd, huh?
Well,
Oh, sports nerd.
yeah. The Texans weren't even around. It was the Houston Oilers, which is now
Yeah.
the Tennessee Titans.
Which is the Titans.
I remember the Oilers.
Yeah, and we don't let them
Oh,
forget that either.
I love Earl Campbell.
Yeah, he's a good ball player.
Yeah, he's in pain now, but boy, when he
You
was
can
young,
find him at HEB nowadays, up in the sausage
oh
section.
yeah,
Earl Campbell sausage,
Always-
right up there.
absolutely.
Did you
Hey,
see
my
that
wife-
picture that Randy Peterson posted in Facebook?
When was that today?
Well, no, it was yesterday, I think it was. It was a spice. Randy likes to cook. You know, he got his griddle out there, outside griddle thing going,
Well,
doing
We're gonna
chicken.
have
He found this spice, and I got to go find it because now I have to know what is that. And it is soul food spice. That's what it
Soul
is.
food spice.
Just soul food. Now what is
That's
that?
all it says is soul food.
I don't
Doesn't
know.
it look-
Randy said he found it. He got a picture of it. He posted it in Facebook. He said he said something like 50 years of looking at spices, and I finally found the right one. What the hell took y'all so long? And that's all it says. I don't know what it is, but it just says soul food seasoning. Well,
Huh.
Well,
If you
I'm
put that in
interested.
some red beans, if you put that
Probably.
in some red beans and
well, that's what I'm going to
Come
find
on.
out.
probably a black thing.
yeah,
If
Yeah.
It's called soul food. You do know that, don't you?
What?
what was?
It's probably a black thing.
It probably is,
Uh-huh.
and I want to taste it.
Oh yeah.
I want.
Now you got
So,
my
it's gonna be
my
good.
taste
That's
buds
all
are-
I'm gonna say.
Yeah, no.
now my taste
He
buds are
posted a
talking to
picture
me.
of this. He said it was great. After 50 years, the greatest thing he ever found. Well,
Huh.
those,
Yeah,
that Randy put a good advertisement. I want to try it.
Yeah.
Oh, Carolyn
Yeah.
says the Eagles have won, so I guess the game is over. And Carolyn, we're putting together this group, baby. I think there's going to be more people there on the 21st than you thought. Well, Joe, are you planning?
What's that?
You thinking about going San Antonio
I'm not sure. What, the 21st of what?
of May?
May?
Yeah, we're several
wait a
months
minute.
out.
I don't
Hold a
want to
minute.
commit right now because I may be going to Maxiclan, Mexico.
Really?
I'm not sure.
You know what the,
Can we all just change
you know
plans
what
and go
the
with you?
21st of May is,
We'll all get on the
John.
same flight.
What's that, Bernadette?
John?
Huh?
The 21st of May.
Yeah.
That's my birthday.
See? See, Bernadette? We're all going to Bernadette's house. All right. Just change the plans. Let's
Change
just
plans.
all go to Bernadette's house. We're having a party.
Yeah,
As long as
my
there's German
birthday.
chocolate cake, I'm there.
I could do a German chocolate cake.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Telling you.
buddy.
Oh, howdy.
Hey, John, my wife wants to know if you like Manuelos.
Manuelo?
Uh-huh.
I probably do as soon as you tell me what that is.
Oh, what? It's a like a corn tortilla. Not a corn tortilla. Flour tortilla.
Flour tortilla.
What does it have, Concha? cinnamon, and
Oh.
sugar.
Oh,
'Cause
hell
we got a
yes.
bunch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You buy them at
I'll send you-
HEB. The ones that are deep fried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Crispy
these are
little
homemade.
boogers. Yes.
Yeah, these are homemade. So I'll send you a plate tomorrow.
Man,
You're gonna need some coffee though.
Joe, you got a good life there, buddy.
I'll tell you, you live life the right way. You live life long.
There you go. Man,
I'm already
what I'm
starting.
saying is you're eating mighty good, Joe.
Oh heck yeah!
You're eating mighty good. Oh
That's-
man.
Good eating keeps you alive.
I'm telling you, we so enjoyed the green enchiladas.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that was good. Oh, by the way, let's settle this right here in this family. What cheese did she use in that? Ask her. What cheese?
That's white Mexican cheese.
White Mexican cheese. All right, that's what I'm going to tell them. Because
Yeah,
it was delicious.
Oh yeah.
It was and spicy. I like the spicy.
Oh yeah.
I like the spicy.
I like to make her mad when she's gonna make them, so she makes them more spicy.
Well, I'll tell
She
you
says,
what,
"I'm gonna
I
make-
really enjoyed it. And she,
I make her
Boy, I
mad.
bet
because
you
I'm gonna-
just instigate all kinds of shit
I
around
know.
your house, huh?
She does. She has. And that rice was nothing to sling about either. I'm telling you. And when I
I'm
start
telling you.
bragging on the rice, you know the rice is good. If you're bragging about the rice, who brags about the
Okay.
rice? You know, it's rice. No. Not the way she
No,
made
this-
it.
Yeah, she. I
Let
asked
me
her
see. Is
one
it-
time,
is it this one?
what do you
No,
put
it's
in there?
this one. There it is.
I asked her, what do you
Oh,
put
shit.
in your rice? And she goes, a pinch of love.
A pinch of.
Ooh,
There
there
you
you
go,
go.
buddy. Well, I tasted it. Tell her I
I'm
tasted
telling
it.
you.
What the shit? Now I'm trying to run the credits, and the camera.
Uh-oh, he's pushing buttons.
No, I haven't pushed buttons. Where's that stupid camera at? As I reach over, oh look at there, you started working. You little piece of shit. Out of the blue, the camera starts to work. Well, shit. I
Did you
fixed
turn
it.
it on, John?
I fixed it. Fixed nothing. When I tried to start the show, that camera wasn't working. I couldn't
Did
get
you
it to come
just
on.
turn it on?
Huh?
Did you just turn it on?
No, I just picked it up over there. Because when I looked up there when I was running the credits, it looked like there was a camera pointing at something fuzzy. So I went to go look, and sure enough, shit, the camera, which I had moved and put down to put the other camera in its place. And because now, see, when I go back to the camera that I was just using a little while ago, that one, it's still there.
Don't push any buttons, John.
I shouldn't
push
push
no
any
Scare
more
me
buttons.
with all that.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm gonna leave it
Yeah,
right
just-
like that. Yeah, something happened and it wouldn't work, but now it's working. So boy, howdy shit. I fixed it. Don't even know how I did that. McCarthy makes a pledge on Social Security and Medicare. Really? What did he say? That he plans on destroying it. There will not be a default. Well, that's progress, I guess. If he doesn't want to kill Medicare and Social Security, that's good. Maybe he'll see the light. Yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe.
I don't think so.
Maybe.
I don't think so.
Don't have too much confidence.
I
in
don't
that.
have any confidence in the Republicans at all right now.
No.
Not in the House at all. The Senate might be able to move something, but the House, they're in a full-blown vengeance thing. That's all the House is going to do is try to raise, as much shit as they possibly can in the next 2 years to make the Democrats look as bad as they can. That's it. They're not
Yeah,
interested
they're
in
just
anything
gonna
else.
say shit to feed their minions and keep them inflamed and
Yep.
keep bullshit going on in this country, so they could
And
try
not
to stay in
change
power.
anything at all, and
not change
blah, blah.
anything. Nope.
They don't want
Okay.
anything to change.
Okay, now
That's a
see,
constipated.
Bernadette, you got a
That's a
problem here.
Uh-oh, what's the problem?
Everybody's saying San Antonio, May 21st, Bernadette's birthday, be there. Bernadette, you got to come to San Antonio, baby. I'm sorry. Got to get on a plane and come to San Antonio.
That might be a problem.
Hey, if you get on a bicycle and start now, you
Yeah, it's
might
downhill.
Oh,
It's
honey.
downhill. From where you live, it's all downhill.
It's all downhill.
You can just coast all the way, Bernie.
Won't even have to pedal.
I wish you could, baby. I wish you could. I
Shit.
wish we could all
I
get
tell you,
together.
if I had one of them e-bikes, I probably get on it. I probably would get on it.
All right,
Okay.
we're gonna start a thing to buy Bernadette an
Oh.
e-bike. I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Ah,
I want to thank everybody for coming by and joining the conversation tonight. It was not an easy one to have, but there are
no,
so
it's not.
many uncomfortable conversations that make us mad, that are going to just
But
make us.
that's what we
That's
have
why
to
we have to have.
in this country is an uncomfortable conversation.
It is.
We have to have it.
It's the only thing that makes progress. And what is that
Yeah.
TV commercial that keeps running through my head? Progress is everything. If you're not
That's what
making
they say.
progress, you're backing up, baby. So we
Yeah.
need to make that progress. And I like to think, like I said, that this show has a small part to play in all of our lives as an effort to try to do better and learn more and be participants in this democracy. That we stand up for each other and we stand up for what's right. That's all we can
Well,
hope for.
John, this show and other shows like it are proof positive that there are like-minded people
There you go.
in this country.
There you go.
Well, I have to disagree with Joe because I don't think there's another show out there that's like this one,
Not like this one.
where we
Well-
actually give the callers their own voice, and you can come on in and say how
Anybody
you
can
feel
come in
about
here.
what's
That's
going
true.
on in this.
And I have
country,
to agree
too.
with you on that.
Yeah.
Anybody
Yeah.
can come in
That-
this room, go on Discord, or go to bluedotintexas.com. There's a link there for Discord. You can follow that link and get your butt right into this room and join the
So
conversation
come on
anytime.
in and join the conversation.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you. We'd
Yeah.
love to hear what you think about all of this, because
Teresa
your voice
Rojas.
matters. Your voice matters.
It does. It
like
does.
mine.
And not only that, we get to discuss, but we lift each other up. We hold each other when we need to be held. And that's what
Yep.
a family does, baby. So,
And there's another
I'm just-
conversation we need to have on another day,
What's that?
because it's a little late right now. But Smartass Squaw made a point earlier in the comments,
Yeah.
and it's something that I have been following for quite a while. Is young Indigenous women are disappearing at a huge rate, and nobody looks for them. Nobody looks for them. They're just wiped off. And we need to look at
That's
that.
scary.
We need to advocate
Yeah.
for looking into that. You don't have your daughters disappear and nobody looks for them.
No, I seen a headline a little while ago. They got some guy that's using dating apps to get women, and he's attacking them. They got his picture on the front page. They're looking for his ass all over. He's attacked several women using a dating app.
Mhm.
This is a
Yeah,
sad
that-
world we live in sometimes. You know,
Oh, yeah.
we're trying to
well,
make
and
it better, and some of us live in a world that is mildly, acceptable. But every
Yeah.
day there are people in this country that are suffering when there's no need for it.
That's true.
You know,
This is the richest country in the world, and we got people that are hungry.
Yeah.
We got students that are not getting what they need.
we got that could be a whole. Y'all seen this new AI artificial intelligence that can write? I forgot the name of it right now. Y'all seen the story on this thing?
I haven't
So-
read the story yet.
Oh, it's AI that you just give it a subject matter, and it can create dialogue that looks like somebody wrote it. And anyway, artificial intelligence, it's a whole other story. It's dangerous, is what it is, because it's advanced to
Yes.
the point now where kids can use it in college and just say, write me an exam paper on atomic theory,
And
there
thus
you go.
taking critical thinking out of the hands
There
of
you go.
humans and putting
Yeah,
it
you don't have to
into
think
robots
about it. Just put
and
it.
thinking that
Yeah.
this is going to make a better world because
Yeah.
people aren't thinking, and that's part of the problem.
That is the problem. People aren't thinking, or they're thinking about the wrong things. So we got to thank for them. We'll change their ass. Anyway,
That's right.
Joe, thank you for coming in, brother. I know it's late,
No
but
problem.
appreciate you jumping in.
You betcha.
I'll look forward to our next meeting.
Oh yes.
Pitiful,
You
pitiful.
come by. You
This
come
could
by
be
tomorrow
dangerous.
and
You
we'll-
living
we'll-
so close, Joe. This could be
I know.
dangerous, buddy.
I'm gonna fatten you up.
I need it, brother. I need a few pounds put on my ass. Anyway,
Some
Joe,
pounds
thank
on
you
you.
for coming by.
You bet.
And thank Maria so much for the cooking, buddy. For the enchiladas,
You
the rice,
bet.
the beans.
You betcha.
I appreciate it.
Maria, she says thank you,
Gracias.
and she nods her head.
There you go. That's what women do. Anyway,
That's right.
Miss Chick, thank you, baby, for coming in. Always
welcome,
a pleasure.
John.
Always a fountain of knowledge when I need you, darling. Thank you.
Well, thanks for being there.
Well, that's
Quite
what we
simply, and everyone out there, please like, share, and subscribe.
There you
It
go.
keeps
Thank you, darling.
this Blue Dot family going.
Spread the word. Get somebody else in here. Anyway, thank you, Miss Chick. And Bernadette, thank you for your voice and your passion, baby. Some of these subjects I know touch home and they're hard, baby.
It gets difficult, but you know what? I'm here to do the difficult work because I got a little one growing up in this world, and he's still got to go through it. So I want to make a path for him to go.
He's got
And
a team
I
behind
want
him
to
here.
give a special thanks out to Mitch and his family and the thoughtful communications that he came with tonight.
Mitch is a
because
pretty
it's real
intelligent fellow.
important that
Very
we
articulate
all
and
realize
has a mind that
we're
just...
on the same side. We're
Yeah.
on the same side, and we're all fighting the same thing.
Indeed.
So if we don't get together and come as a force, we're not going to change this shit individually.
We
gotta
need to
come
make
as
it
a
in numbers so large that
Yes,
it can't be denied.
Absolutely. And that's why
what
we're here.
changes it.
We're here to help everybody else. We're cheerleaders, like you say, John, and we're here to
Yeah.
help everybody else get your voice up, get your vote ready, and let's change America.
That's
y'all.
what we can do. Let's do that.
That's what we can
One
do.
voice at a
Let's
time, baby.
change.
One day
America.
at a time. Ain't that the song? Anyway, we'll be back here again on, today? Sunday. So we'll be back here Tuesday for another Blue Dot family meeting. So please come by and join us. I want to thank everybody in that chat on YouTube, on Facebook that join us every week. I so appreciate you so much, and the conversation that goes on in there makes this a family, and I appreciate it so much. Anyway, y'all take care of yourself. We'll be back here on Tuesday for another show. And until then, put a smile on your face as best you can, baby, and try to pass it on, because I assure you, somebody else needs it. Y'all say goodnight to some.
Good night.
night.
Good night, everybody, and we'll see you again Tuesday. And again, I got to look over here because I don't have buttons for this. Got to fix my buttons. This is distracting. Y'all take care of yourself.